Auditory dyslexia. So what is that? Again, we have another type or a different way that dyslexia can actually influence an individual. And this one isn't about reading and writing, which is actually what excites me so much about this type of dyslexia. Not that I think that it's awesome people have it, but that once again, we're going outside of the written language, which is what society so commonly associates with dyslexia. Auditory dyslexia, I would think they don't actually test for this as far as I'm concerned. It never came up in any of my testing when I went through it. However, I would definitely say that I do present with auditory dyslexia as part of my dyslexic identity. So what is it? It means that individuals who process the world this way can sometimes hear wrong words, so similar sounding words when someone is speaking. They have a hard time with pronunciations. It gets almost mumbo jumboed is what I would call it when people are talking, where if the person isn't speaking with clear cadence or clear accuracy, it's possible that an individual who processes the world this way with auditory dyslexia won't totally understand what the other person is saying. Now, when we look at relationships, this does cause, it impacts it completely. So your partner or whoever is around you is speaking, you may or may not fully comprehend exactly what they're saying because your brain is processing the information skewed. I have noticed for myself this my entire life. If I think back, I, as a child, was always hearing miswords. But to me, my brain always went to the funny part. So I always was laughing because I would hear a very inaccurate word that actually didn't jive with what the person was saying, and it would make me laugh. But then I would know that I needed to ask them to repeat it. I'm sorry. What did you say again? I think I heard it incorrectly. When we experience this, it's up to the dyslexic individual to actually be thinking, which is part of the reason why we can become so exhausted in social interactions, because we're working even harder to make sure that we're even hearing other people correctly. It's not an automatic necessarily. It is a filter we have to go through. So that's another sub-program we're running in our brain with every communication that we have. We're intently and intensely listening to the other person to make sure that we don't mix up the words they're sharing with us. That becomes a drain in well-being. That becomes where we socially get burnt out so much faster than another person. Where this comes up, and I think it's quite humorous, is for me with songs. I personally think almost every songwriter out there, or singer more so, should really have a dyslexic who processes auditory dyslexia, listen to their soundtracks to make sure that they aren't, or that they are actually coming across with the messages that they are trying to say. So my favorite one is actually an Ed Sheeran song, South of the Border. And in it, he's singing about this beautiful woman that he wants to connect with, and that he's talking about her caramel thighs. So her tan thighs, her darker thighs, darker skin, whatever it is, but she has caramel-like color. However, my brain, every single time, even though I know what he is saying, because I had to look up the lyrics, I hear camel thighs. So he's singing about her camel thighs. And in my brain, she must have large thighs that he just finds attractive. And it makes me laugh every time I hear the song. Now, nothing against Ed Sheeran. I love the song. But that's what I hear every single time. That's one example. There's multiple examples of songs out there. And even when I know what the lyrics are, I still hear it the way my brain processes. That is how auditory dyslexia presents. Now, if I'm having a discussion or if I'm in a lecture with a professor, I'm learning content, and I don't process exactly what they're saying, that becomes an issue. It's no longer funny. It becomes a challenge in me actually acquiring the knowledge I need to move on with whatever it is, my studies, my work, or even in client situations that I'm trying to understand somebody else's landscape or the way that they see the world. So while there is a positive that I can actually have humor and joy in, there is also a downside to it as well. With this comes, if somebody says a word that I can't spell in my head, guess what? It's really hard for me to figure out what that word is. Again, it's all part of it. These are the real aspects of dyslexia. We can look for the joy, and I would really encourage you to try, because it allows us to not beat ourselves up for something that we have no control over. Your brain was formed this way, and it's to our benefit to try and find the positives from it. Try and have that post-traumatic growth or build that resilience in ourselves around our brain processing that we have no control over. But we do have control over how we process it or how we deal with it. Allow those times that you feel beaten up because you're hearing the wrong words all day. And also recognize, what is your well-being like? Are you hungry? What's your emotional state? How was your sleep the night before? Is there extra noise happening in your environment that's making it even more difficult? Give yourself some credit for those times, because no matter who you are, that would be slightly challenging. But for us dyslexics, it's maybe 10, 100 times more. Look for the joys in it. Listen to those songs that you know the lyrics wrong. Enjoy them, because once you tell other people what you hear, odds are they'll kind of hear it too. Enjoy the dyslexic brain for what it is, and honor those times that you can't change them. And find those well-being, find the humor. Humor has such a powerful, is such a powerful tool for increasing our well-being. Try and find the humor, because ultimately we're living the life as a dyslexic individual.